And welcome back, race fans, as we get ready to work ourselves into the heats here to set the final grid for the closing races of the afternoon. Been a pretty quick dash here through all the racing excitement so far. Got to give a huge shout out to our track workers for how well they've just been making sure that everybody has been prepared and taken to the track here quick. As we look at a field of hungry drivers here getting ready to go back out here onto the circuit here to solidify their qualifying positions for the finals.
It's like a different day from the morning session.
I know. It felt great this morning.
It was very nice this morning. A little breeze,
Yeah.
little cloud cover.
Yep. And it went to sun with like no breeze.
Now it's just like welcome to the swamp.
Yeah.
See there, we got parents taking pictures of their favorite drivers and just building up those that catalog of racing memories for these families here. It's a family sport. It's what it's all about at the end of the day, and you really get to see that on full display here at the at your regional karting facilities. And what we're also looking at right now is a poor woman working the gate. She looks like she's melting to death over here as you see fanning away. But the gate is open. The carts are ready to take to the course here.
As far as weather-wise goes, at least everything precipitation-wise is far to the south of us and not really any kind of a threat right now. We were checking the weather earlier. It was saying around 2 o'clock was going to be our biggest chance for storms, as we have a little bit of a stack up here coming out of the paddock there.
Danny O'Gara currently at the point. Look at this. Look how aggressive we are, just warming the tires. Took me about a week of doing this to realize that they weren't wrecking. Because every time it's just like a jump scare when you get that like face down shot of the carts and they're, you know, setting them as far wide as they possibly can to try and get some heat into those. Here we are, a little bit of a multi-class scenario, so a couple carts straggling a little bit further back. That's your micros and your minis. So we load up into the tram lines. Side by side, flag is in the air. It's a good start. We're clean and green for racing. Down to the first corner. A little bit of a shakeup. Outside pole falling back to third. Yeah, we're looking a little bit further in the back right now at the micros. 3-cart field for them.
4-cart field up front. So far, everybody kind of really spreading out in this heat race right now. I think we have one car spinning there. One cart spinning. That looks like, I believe it's Ari Berger,
That's
but I'm not entirely sure.
And we see a little bit of damage taken there to the retaining barrier earlier in the day. But O'Gara right now on charge at the front of the field, being trailed by Blake Martinez and Lead Simonellic. But it's looking like business as usual for Mr. O'Gara up there at the point. So he sets
really nothing significant going on here. Just more looking like almost like an extended practice session before our final here.
It looks like we got ourselves a second round of warm-ups here. And O'Gara setting at 32.661 that last lap to a 33.384 from Blake Martinez. Now make it a 32.4 over a 33.4, so a second lap difference there that last go round. opening up Danny O'Gara's lead to Blake Martinez to 2 seconds now. Martinez, though, with a little bit of a handful. Semenalik not applying a whole lot of pressure, but within a stone's throw. This could really turn into a battle here, depending on how things work out for both of these two karts.
Closest battle on the racetrack right now, at least. Everybody's kind of filed into their running positions, with the exception of these two karts right here. Martinez and Simonella really battling for that second spot, which should be really important. You really want to be on the front row here in these races. You see Simonella now taking a look to the outside, going to easily make the pass right now on Martinez. Martinez maybe just conceding the spot right now and not trying to get caught up in a battle.
And Semenalik really hauling right now, too. Setting some pretty good laps, but man, it's just like O'Gara every lap just somehow finds more when I didn't think there was any more to find. Now at 32.248.
Yeah, every lap so far has been the fastest lap for O'Gara, so it's really been impressive. James Fox also doing a good job leading the micro Swift class there. Actually, almost on par with some of the mini Swift times.
Which is really impressive. And based on the times, he would definitely be in the mix with the mini Swifts.
At least competitive, right? Like definitely not going to be up towards the front, but could definitely run there and not look like they were in a different class.
Absolutely. Last lap for the minis are starting to pick it up though. Second now, a lap faster than Fox, with Martinez running at 32.7. Fox bringing it in a little bit though, 33.4. But Fox
Again,
well
O'Gara
ahead.
just...
I was gonna say well ahead of the competition. No, Fox is well ahead of the competition. There's a second there, so yeah. Pretty much walk-offs for both classes right now as we take the 30-second mark, which means 3 more laps, give or take.
Fun little anecdote that I think is kind of interesting. So far, everybody has run their fastest lap time on lap number 6 of their run, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now that I say that, though, Simonella and Martinez both ran their fastest lap of this heat last time by, still about 3 to 4 tenths of a second off of O'Gara, but at least making some dent into the gap.
Yeah, O'Gara just has something special figured out this season, because he has just been on top of his game, race in and race out. A little bit of a time loss there that go around. O'Gara running at 32.8. That's a slowest lap we've seen him run since the green flag dropped. But everybody else kind of falling to the wayside as well, as we got a pass on track right now. Was that Martinez working his way past Semenalik? Yes, it was. Blake Martinez moving up into the second position now, over late Semenalik. Pretty clean textbook pass, too. Just set him up, got the run, and rolled with it as we take the white flag. Final lap remaining here for the mini micro heat. And Danny O'Gara has been the man on the mission so far, just running away with it. And in your micro class, James Fox has pretty much led everything that he can lead here as well, as we watch him work his way around this oh-so-difficult course. Sorry, no, we're watching Danny O'Gara right now. And crosses the line for the final time. Danny O'Gara going to steal the deal and win the heat for the minis. He's going to be followed across the line by Blake Martinez, lead Semenalik.
Nothing too difficult for Danny or James in that heat.
This is a nice Saturday cruise, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know because I wouldn't be that fast, but I would think it's pretty easy.
You know, I'll be throwing that easy word around now. Get us some trouble up here.
This time though with the 206 medium class.
I'll tell you what, all day it's felt like Wilbur versus Heber, and it looks like we might have another showing of that. 'Cause those two
Which
were-
is weird. We've never seen that before, so that would be a shock to all of us involved.
Oh yeah, that'd be impossible to comprehend. Everybody bunches up to get ready to go through the tram lines here to start this heat off. Flag is in hand. Everybody lined up side by side here. And there it is. Green flag is out. We are underway into turn one. It's going to be side by side here for Heber and Wilbur. And neither one of them really giving much. Down to that hairpin that we've talked about being so critical for the lap time. And it looks like Wilbur and Heber are going to be able to hold their position in 1 and 2. Heber with the advantage right now over Levi Wilbur.
Nosman tried to make that stick there on Heber, but Heber had the advantage going to the other side of the hairpin, able to clear him off for second position right now.
Across the line, Heber, Evan McCorkadale with a huge move, though, going to move himself up into second place, taking the spot at the last second from Levi Wilbur before we came out down to the back, down the front straightaway. You know, Evan's been pretty quiet today. Getting down here into the heats, though, looks like he's really starting to find a little bit of extra pace behind the wheel of that 19 kart. As we work through the final corners here.
Yeah, you make a really good point. He's just been consistently getting faster and faster all day long for Evan McCorkadale.
Braden Heber right now with a 1.6 second advantage over Evan McCorkadale and Levi Wilbur. And Wilbur's starting to lose a little bit of time here. And it looks like there might be a miss on Wilbur's kart. The 712 machine off the track here. It looks like it may be an engine issue. Maybe stalled out somehow or something, but Levi Wilbur is out of the kart.
Well, that would kind of make sense too. Nothing against McCorkdale, but it was quite a sudden drop off there for Wilbur. And McCorkdale really closed the gap quickly. That would explain a little bit if there's issues happening to that 712 kart.
Yeah, really difficult break for Levi Wilbur. As you see, he's off the track now, helmet off. Right now at, I believe, Nostman and Amaker getting ready to go to battle here.
That battle between Hammaker and Patton too for a couple laps now has been pretty close. You'd even throw Goldman in there to a certain extent, but Goldman's fallen a little back from that battle of two. It actually looks like Patton was able to make the pass on Hammaker. We'll see what they come back to the stripe where it shakes out.
Right now, Hammaker holding on to the spot in 4th place with Patton all over the back bumper coming into the final corner here. That lap's going to go to Mike, though, in the 6th machine. over top of Patton, who's just hanging on at 5th. Eber up at the front, untouchable by the rest of the field, sitting with a 3.5 second advantage over Evan McCorkadale.
Again, we're getting into that little section of the heats that we've seen so far where everybody's kind of spaced out right now, and then once we say that, you'll see another battle develop again like you're seeing here between the 6 and the 21. It's gonna be your closest battle on the track right now. Everybody else kind of in their own little zip code, as you can see.
And the 6 of Hemmicker doing everything he can to try and defend over the hard charging Nick Patton right there behind him in 5th in the 21 machine. And not too far out of shot though. You mentioned it earlier. Andrew Goldman, he's just looming back there, lurking in the shadows.
Probably going to be interesting to see Wilbur come from the back of this field here, though, if they can get things fixed on that 712 card.
But all eyes right now up at the front of the field, the 8 machine of Heber, just on a tear today from Whiteland Park. It's had so much speed. And it just seems like a week-to-week thing for him this year.
Yeah, just a model of consistency everywhere he goes, everything he shows up in, every class he runs in. It just makes it look, yeah, I don't want to say it again, but really, he does make it look easy.
Yeah, he's just out there on autopilot, but this, there's nothing about this that is easy. I mean, racing, it's not a single thing, not a single division, not a single car that's just easy to do, because, I mean, you're going against everybody in equal stuff, trying to get the most out of it, and right now, Heber's just the guy that's found that magic combination, whatever that may be, and it's just working out great for him as he's sitting 6 seconds over second place.
2 laps to go. He's going to be coming to the white flag this time, but it's, again, been another Saturday drive for Heber up to this point.
It looks like Mike Hemmiker's going to do a good job holding off Patton here. You see there's quite a bit of separation between those 2 karts. As we zoom in on the 573 machine of Nostman there, holding on to a resounding 3rd place right now. A couple seconds up from Hemmiker. And it looks like that battle might be starting to heat up, though, between 4th and 5th.
That'd be important, too, because that's going to be for the outside of the 2nd row. So, if you're Patton, you really want to get past Hemmiker here for that 4th position, so you're not starting back behind 2 rows of cars in the 3rd row. So we'll see if he's able to get it done.
Checker flag is out, and Braden Heber's going to win the 206 medium heat over Evan McCorkadale. Nicholas Nostman bringing it home 3rd, followed by Mike Hemmiker, Nick Patton, Andrew Goldman. No, Nick Patton takes the spot at the last second in the 21 kart. Andrew Goldman also taking it as well. So something must have happened with the 6 machine of Hemmiker, who's going to come in 6th place, followed by Reed Esslinger and Levi Wilbur after a devastating turn of events to start this thing off with what looked like a mechanical failure.
It does look like there's one cart in the background there that is just stopped. I'm not sure if that was Levi Wilbur's cart from earlier or if that was maybe something that happened to Hemmiker, although he gets to get the final time. So I think if he didn't finish, he would have gotten that final time and then be 1 lap down. So I think that might just be Wilbur's cart there that we're seeing in the background.
Big old RTV that you were talking about earlier. And the main gate's opening up here. And Kart's taking to the track here for our 206 junior class. Now, does anybody have anything for Jordan Le Pen?
Yeah, probably. Honestly, this one was a little bit more close than we saw. Also saw a little bit of a don't want to say extracurriculars, but just some stuff where some of the karts had issues that you would normally see to the front. I mean, you see, Lucian Laser back there in the 8th spot. Had some issues during qualifying as well, so
It'll be interesting to see how they get that 308 kart fixed up. He's going to be one to keep your eyes on because you know that he only knows one direction, and that is forward. This gives us a little bit of a wave there, too. Must have hurt us. His karts lined up side by side, rolling into the tram lines here. Flagman tell him to slow it down just a little bit. And it's good. We're green into turn 1. Nolan Wade versus Jordan Le Pen. Oh, a little bit of contact, a little bit further in the back of the pack. 3-4 karts around. Lucian Laser caught in it. And it looks like somebody kicked a GoPro. Oh, and Lucian Laser attached to the 7 kart of Parker Dunn. That is a huge cost of time for both of these machines. Up at the front of the pack right now, rolling through the final handful of corners, a 4-kart breakaway for the lead with Jordan Le Pen leading Nolan Wade, Nico Santos, and Carson Benjamin, and Maximus Seward.
really some of the most interesting action we've seen here to start one of these heat races so far. You can kind of see that group of 3 karts. They've been breaking away just a little bit, but not running away with it just quite yet.
I'll tell you what, it's just been a heartbreaking turn of events here to start this final heat of the day out, or just this final part of the day out for Lucian Laser. So much pace we saw earlier in the day, and just bad luck after bad luck, really changing the tone for the 308 machines weekend here. As we got 1 kart off the track here. Look at the 64 machine. That'll be Gio Nelson. That is a very unfortunate place to be off, because it looks like the kart not able to make contact with the back wheels to drive off. Here we are, another lap put on the board. Jordan Le Pen leading Nolan Wade, but these guys not really able to get away from each other. Nolan Wade all over the back bumper of the 112 machine to work through the first handful of corners.
Nolan Wade actually had the faster lap time that time by too.
I think Nolan might be the first person to figure out how to pull a little bit of slipstream off the kart in front of him here this weekend. And he is all over him through the S's. This is not going to be an easy walk-off for Jordan Le Pen.
No, not at all. Where he's really getting them is going to be in the hairpin section. I'm interested to see where it will happen, or if anything will happen this time by.
He was eating him alive through the S's that go around too.
Yeah, he's setting it up here. Watch.
He's not able to get anything to work here. I think it might be a situation too, if he knows that he's really matched for pace with Jordan, might just be waiting for a later stab at it. But you see him widen up the corner entry coming into the S's, and it really builds the momentum down this little chute into the last 2 turns. You see him really close it up here as we come through the penultimate corner, and then finally into the last corner.
But it's interesting though, you can get that run every time, it seems like, if you run a little bit wide through that corner, but there's not really a great place to pass on the opposite side of it.
The only thing that I've really seen work out in that half of the track is, like, a last second dive into the final corner right before the start finish line, or just keep that momentum built up and make a dive down to the first turn. We've seen that work. We've seen the hairpin turn. Not really anything you can do through the S's necessarily, though. You are right on that. As Jordan leads across the line this time with a purple lap, 34.590, fastest lap we've seen in the heat so far, but still not able to lose Nolan Wade as Nolan Wade follows him into the hairpin, turn 2. Quick right into 3, then into the S as we go.
Just not able to get alongside of Lapen right now as Wade just throughout this entire heat has just been right there the entire time. Just doesn't have the pass quite yet. Either that or just waiting for the perfect moment to just make sure there's no opportunity to pay him back on a pass going through. We've seen the crossover so many times today too, Sheldon.
Yeah, and I think that these guys really paid attention to that earlier in the morning. And they're just, I think that Wade is just being patient, making sure that he doesn't lose the gap to the machine in front of him to make a last-ditch effort right at close here to walk away with potentially a heat win. But you see now, Lapen's really picked up his game through the S's. He's opening up that corner, getting a better launch out of there than Wade right now. But Wade doing a really good job staying tucked up here on the straightaway, and the only part of the track where slipstream really comes into play.
I think if Wade's going to do anything here, going to have to do something not through this corner, but something different for the next corner there. I don't think that running wide to get that run is going to really pay off in getting the actual pass at the end of it. He's got to find another way to get it done.
Oh, and this is a better set of S's for him, too. Going to be drawn right up to the bumper in the last few corners. If there's going to be an opportunity for him to make anything happen here on the front straightaway, it's going to be now. Time starting to run out. Now we just have 2 laps remaining here for the heat. Is he going to make the dive to the bottom? No, he stays in line. Lapen driving, you know, over the shoulder a little bit, making sure that he keeps him behind. A little bit of a slide for Lapen there. That's going to open up the window of opportunities for Wade to get to the back bumper. But not enough here. Now we get ready to go into the S's again. Is he going to have the same momentum this lap? Not quite. Lapen with the advantage this time as he comes through the final 2 turns to take the white flag.
I think Lapen there actually did get more sideways than Wade, but did a better job of carrying speed through the hairpin.
But here we go. Here comes Wade. He's going to make the look to the bottom this time. This is the only opportunity right here. If he's going to make the dive, he's going to have to make it now, but I don't think he's close enough to make it happen. No, he's not. Lapen safe through the hairpin. Now working back up into the S's. And I think that this might be a done deal. Yes, a little bit of a swing wide for Wade, though. It's going to pull him right up to the back bumper here as we come into the final 2 turns. Is Wade going to be able to make anything happen? Does he use the bumper into the last turn? Doesn't look like it's going to work. And it looks like, unless we get a slingshot to the inside, no, Lapen is going to hold strong here to win the 206 junior heat over Nolan Wade, Carson Benjamin, and Nico Santos.
I wonder there if Nolan Wade maybe learned anything in that heat race he can use when we go into the final a little bit later this evening.
I wonder what our flagman has to say about it.
Just wasn't able to get it quite done.
But yeah, Jordan Lapen going to hold on after a spirited battle from Nolan Wade for the entirety of that heat. Carson Benjamin going to bring home 3rd with Nico Santos in 4th. 5th going to Maximus Seward, followed by Max and Klebe. Lucian Laser after a heartbreaking start, bringing it home 7th, with Parker Dunn and Gio Nelson both out of the race, but finishing 8th and 9th respectively.
Really important to lift through the lower part of your back, actually.
Yep. Got it up there.
Really like jerk at it too, like, because then that's more force at once.
Yeah, it sounds dialed into me. See him retrieving that cart. I believe that was Gio Nelson's 64 cart. If I remember correctly, he was the one that got stuck in that unfortunate situation where he just couldn't get the back tires to meet the track surface. He takes the long dreaded ride back to pit road.
It is kind of funny how they make him, like, I guess where else are they gonna put him, right? But like how you sit on the cart while it's dragging you back.
like I said, normally works out, but there is that once in a blue moon situation where that cart finds its way off. And it looks like that one's going to make it home safe.
Well, not with this one here. I mean, they did a good job on that.
Yeah. Definitely a really handy piece of machinery that the Whiteland Raceway Park has put together to make sure that these carts make it back to the pits without taking any extra spills along the way. Right now, the 206 Legends and Supermasters taking to the track here for their 5-minute heat. And Ian, do you think anybody's got anything for Brian Williams up here at the point?
Probably not, honestly.
That man has been on an island all his own today. Of course, since this is technically a multi-class, I wonder if they're going to line them up separately here.
I think so. I think they did that, yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think they need to give Brian Williams any more advantage than he already has. So they group them up here before we roll into the tram lines to start the heat for the 206 Legends and Supermasters. Only one legend in the field, though, and that will be Brian Williams. The rest, Supermasters. And the green flag is out. We are underway here with a charge down into turn 1, led by J. Brian Williams. Looks like Danny Cutshaw going to be able to work his way past William McLaughlin, though, through the first corner. Danny Cutshaw was one of those last second entries to the track in qualifying early, so we didn't really get as much time to see what the one kart is capable of. It's going to be interesting to witness that here as he rolls across the line. Second place with the leader of the Supermasters series here in this heat. And Brian Williams already working on walking away from the rest of the field.
I was gonna say it's just gonna be his race to lose basically at this point. Cutshaw maybe has a little bit there to give to him, but we'll see.
Well, Cutshaw still not walking away from William McLaughlin, though. McLaughlin just sitting there 2-3 kart lengths back. Looks like he's closing a little bit here at the start-finish line. 0.3 of a second separating second and third from each other. Through the hairpin, McLaughlin going to get a little bit better run out of the hairpin. Now up into the S's. McLaughlin looks to the inside, not able to make anything stick, though. Going to fall back in the line behind Cutshaw here as we work through the S's into the final handful of corners here. And Cutshaw's going to hang on to second place here at the stripe for now. As we watch J. Brian Williams send it down into turn 1. And McLaughlin is there. He is all over the back bumper coming into the hairpin. Is he going to look to the bottom? No. Cutshaw's going to do a good job being defensive. But here's the question. How much is that going to hurt him on corner exit? Doesn't look like a whole lot. But now a dive down to the inside. Here comes William McLaughlin. He's going to take it. And with a clean surgical pass, William McLaughlin is going to move up into the second place over Cutshaw.
Yeah, that looked too easy for McLaughlin. It almost looked like Cutshaw just moved aside and gave it to him there. We'll see as the request of the heat here kind of transpires if Cutshaw has anything to give back to McLaughlin. But yeah, that looked like a very simple pass for him.
It's definitely a very smooth, calculated maneuver out of William McLaughlin. But he's not losing Cutshaw right now. Cutshaw, you know, staying in the wake of that 56 machine.
Yeah, not able to pull away to the same extent that J. Brian Williams is, but still got a little bit of speed on Cutshaw right now.
Yeah, McLaughlin starting to pull it out just a little bit, though. Creeping his way out of the picture for Cutshaw. Advantage really starting to grow now for the 56 machine, and now everybody's just kind of on an island of their own. 2.8 seconds separating first from second. Just a little over a second separating second from third, and yeah, not a whole lot really happening on track right now. Just everybody kind of logging little practice laps here.
Yeah, really just been one of the calmer heats we've had all day long. Not really too much battling for position, except for the little battle we saw between McLaughlin and Cutshaw. But even since then, you can see McLaughlin starting to open up a little bit of a gap on Cutshaw, not really making any dent into the gap that J. Brian Williams has, but definitely getting a little bit faster as the session progresses.
And look at Williams right now, just keeping up the consistency. You can just tell by looking from up here that he is absolutely locked in. You can just tell, you can sense it. Man means business. He comes across the line here with a 34.322. 5 seconds separating him from second place. 18 seconds left in the heat, plus the 2 laps that follow.
Not much faster than McLaughlin, but just fast enough to be able to make the changes as we see one car going off here.
Yeah, we got one car pulling in here. Looks like it might be one of the Stevens carts.
I think it was Tom Stevens. I think I saw an 8 on there. So
we see William McLaughlin still leading over Danny Cutshaw right now. 0.8 of a second, separating second from third. See the white flag being waved here. Last lap for J. Brian Williams as well as the rest of the field. And Cutshaw closing in on the back bumper of the 56 machine of McLaughlin. One last lap, maybe one more stab at trying to take over second place.
we shall see. It's been very close. I think you gotta be a little bit closer than that heading into the first turn if you're gonna have a chance though, but I've been wrong before.
He's going to need a big mistake out of the 56 machine of McLaughlin, but I don't think McLaughlin is capable of making a mistake big enough to let it happen. So now all he has to do is get through the S's, and, you know, once we get through the S's, you're pretty much locked into where you're at. Coming out of the final turn, though, for the final time with the checkered flag in the air, it's going to go to J. Brian Williams, winning the 206 Legends Super Masters heat. And off in the distance here, there's William McLaughlin bringing home second, followed by Danny Cutshaw. Tom Stevens going to bring it home fourth, 4 laps down after an early exit, followed by Joseph Stevens just a lap behind.
Pretty academic heat race there. Really not anything too surprising. We kind of thought that J. Brian Williams would walk away with that one, and he did. Good battle, though, between William McLaughlin and Danny Cutshaw there for the rest of that heat race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what those two bring to the table against each other here for the final when we get to it. Oh, I'd never have a problem falling asleep during the Cup race, I can tell you that.
Well, you don't have skin in the game, too, so.
No. No, I stay on the Xfinity just to see what Connor does, because so has come from this realm that we are in right now, and always a big fan of some of the young talents working through. Although
Well,
if Josh Berry's up running well, I'm probably going to be on the edge of my seat till 2 o'clock in the morning when the dang thing ends or something.
I don't want to jinx anything here going into our last heat before our finals here after this heat. We'll take a short 10-minute or so break, and then we'll be going into the finals. But looking at the radar, the first pop-up thunderstorm has just started to rear its ugly head. Very small right now, literally 1 frame of reflectivity, but it's starting to happen.
And to quote Jeremy Clarkson, I just have to drop a quick, oh no. But either way, into the tram lines here for the KA Senior K Masters Heat. The flag is in the hand, and the flag is down. We are green flag racing down to turn 1. I think that's Dane Van Dyke taking the lead into the first corner. Over AJ Lund. No. It's AJ Lund that took the lead, actually, in the 43 kart. My mistake there, guys. Dane Van Dyke sitting in second spot. Now, AJ Lund, I'm excited to see what he's able to do in that 43 machine. Because last time we were here, it was basically his show. So we'll see if that continues here as we work through the KA Senior Heat.
And you kind of mentioned, I'm interested to see if Van Dyke can get back up to Lund here in the remainder of this heat. We don't have much as far as time goes, and again, the qualifying times weren't too far off as far as lap times, only a couple tenths of a second, so not like some of the larger gaps we've seen, half a second, almost a full second between some of these other drives.
We'll see here on lap 2 how close these two are matched for pace. It's a 30.8 from AJ Lund that time, with a 31.3 for Dane Van Dyke. So definitely going to pick it up. We got an incident, though, on the front straightaway just before the start-finish line. Quite number as the 24 kart of Abram Dean. Goes around there. That's definitely not the place you want to go sideways, because that's a huge straightaway. That's a lot of momentum loss. So, like, the initial loss of time from just, having to come to a stop, it's kind of compounded by the fact that you have no momentum now for the first half of the lap.
Especially with the time left in the heat, it's going to be tough to really make up 8 seconds right now. Although, as we say that, it looks like maybe Estrada having a little bit of issues where he's at as well. Now falls to around that 18-second realm as well. That was as well like 7 times in a row there, so I apologize for everybody listening home and at the racetrack.
As well. AJ Lund still up at the advantage though right now with a 2.2 second lead over Dane Van Dyke. Jedediah Jones holding on pretty strong though in third place. Decent little advantage. We're kind of in that situation. Everybody's on their own island. A no man's land scenario, as we like to say in sim racing. Look at how sideways AJ is in that final corner. And that right there, I feel like that is the secret for that 43 kart. You saw how wide he took the corner. He was getting the most out of the double apex. And all the while, sideways slamming on the accelerator.
I am kind of interested to see, too, when we get into these finals with, the little bit of extra time that we have, if sliding the tires that much is really going to be, because look at that, almost some full opposite lock there going into that corner.
I'm not sure, because I don't know how durable the tires are on a go-kart. I don't have any, necessarily, I don't have any experience with go-karts aside from the opportunities I've been granted here with Kart Chaser to come up here and cover the wonderful racing that we get week in and week out. But, I'm not sure what the threshold is, because, I know that tire wears everything in every form of motorsports, but at the same time, we've got, very, very light vehicles. And it's just dependent on how hard or soft the tire compound is, based on the fact that these guys are running their fastest laps later in the run. Like AJ Lund right now just ran his fastest lap of the race, and we are 6 laps in. It kind of makes me think that we're maybe leaning more towards a slightly tougher compound because of how long it's taking for them to get up to heat.
I have seen some kart wheels like in person and like felt them and everything like that. And what I can tell you is they They actually kind of feel a lot like what you would imagine Lego wheels would feel like, you know? But again, I don't know as far as laps goes what the durability is. You would at least think that it would be quite expensive to go through 3, 4, 5 sets of tires in a weekend, but who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. There's one comment in racing is tires are not cheap, especially for purpose-built racing vehicles. And there's not many other applications you can have for a go-kart tire aside from being on a go-kart. So right now, AJ Lund still with a decent advantage over Dane Van Dyke. And that advantage is just growing and growing lap after lap. 5 seconds now separating second from first, and 3 seconds separating second from third. Also, another person that I haven't really mentioned in this broadcast, shout out to Macy Galen sitting there in 4th place. Handful of seconds back, but everybody, you know, out here just separated by great margins. Putting together a pretty good run,
quietly sitting there mid-pack, just maintaining, basically.
Yeah. You got one car, it looks like, off the track, maybe right there in front of the leader. Is that what I saw?
That or it's like some kind of bag thing. I know what you're saying, one of the two things. Like for that final corner there, is that what you're talking about?
Oh, I know. It looked like we had one go off and was rejoining right a couple seconds in front of AJ Lund. As you see AJ Lund making a quick tear through the lap traffic right here in that 43 kart. Working himself into the S's for the final time. And the race has been his basically since the green flag dropped out of the next to last corner here. Back onto the home straight, checkered flag in the air. AJ Lund is going to take it away for the K Senior Master Heat. And we'll wait for it. And he's followed by Dane Van Dyke. And 3rd place going to end up going to Jedediah Jones with Macy Galen bringing it home 4th. Fifth place going to Joshua Nelson, followed by Abram Dean. Kevin Simonellik is going to bring it home 7th, and rounding out the 8 kart field is going to be Eric Estrada.
That's going to do it, I believe, for our heats.
That's it for heats.
Yeah. So we'll take a quick little break here, I think. Come back, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finals ready for you to wrap up our first day here of action at Whiteland Raceway Park.
Yeah, guys.
Again, like we were saying earlier, we got another more racing action for you tomorrow as well.
Yeah, but what we have left today is 51 minutes of entertaining white knuckle racing action. Not counting the little breaks in between, but definitely want to stick around and watch how this deal closes out, because this is for all the marbles. This is for all the money.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this Brandon business, okay? Brandon this, Brandon that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200,
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I went to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like $20 a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like $50 a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to K100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead-follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Are you sick of making the wrong setup changes? Or arguing with your kid about their driving? Apex gives you the answers within seconds. Apex is the latest innovation from Kart Class, which can solve thousands of karting queries at the press of a button. No more asking random people kart setups, or being intimidated by larger teams. Just type it in and let Apex do the rest. Apex covers different kart brand setups, axles, rims, seats, and everything racecraft related. For as little as a can of chain loop, you can learn from over 30 years karting experience in seconds in the palm of your hand. Check out Apex at kartclass.com today.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to Indy Kart and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula 1 to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Are you sick of making the wrong setup changes? Or arguing with your kid about their driving? Apex gives you the answers within seconds. Apex is the latest innovation from Kart Class, which can solve thousands of karting queries at the press of a button. No more asking random people kart setups, or being intimidated by larger teams. Just type it in and let Apex do the rest. Apex covers different kart brand setups, axles, rims, seats, and everything racecraft related. For as little as a can of chain loop, you can learn from over 30 years karting experience in seconds in the palm of your hand. Check out Apex at kartclass.com today.
All the way up to the finish line. Who is it going to be? And it's Sean Perez who wins in Crescent.
Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in K100 Junior.
Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here. Told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Cards.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it, and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Brandon, why are there all these
right,
charges
stop.
for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this branding business, okay? Branding this, branding that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney, Turney in the dirt.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it, and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
We are here for the Indy Karting Championship, and we have crept our way into finals time here as we get ready to complete our Saturday action here at the Speedway.
Looking forward to these final races here, especially the multi-class ones. It was really interesting earlier to see the multi-class with the 10-minute time actually ended to have some interesting lap down scenarios.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting way to close it out this afternoon. A lot of good racing in store for you here in these this last little dash here to the finish. I'll tell you what, before we get too deep into it, just everybody here today has done such a great job, from the drivers to the teams, all the way down to the track workers. Heck, the Kart Chaser team has done an incredible job giving us beautiful scenes of the racing action and keeping us informed on everything that was going on as well. Not sure what the weather's got in store though. Mr. Weatherman, what are you predicting over there, Ian?
Nothing really so far. Radar is looking pretty good, honestly. Just had that one little pop-up, I don't even want to say a thunderstorm, it was just a shower there for the time being. A little bit of stuff starting to pop up here and there, but really nothing that's threatening the racetrack as of right yet.
Well, sounds good. Just to err on the side of consistency, hoping that stays clean here to the finish. But we're getting ready now for the Micro Swifts and the Mini Swifts to take to the track. Well, they've already taken to the track right now, but get ready for them to take the green flag here as we roll up into the tram lines here. This is Danny O'Gara leading the Mini Swifts, and the green flag is out. We are down into turn one now. Danny already with the advantage into second corner as we got more action a little bit further back here. This is your micro, so it's a 3-3 split right now between minis and micros.
Saw a little bit earlier. I'm interested to see. I mean, it's not really a question, right? But I'm more interested to see it like by how much Danny O'Gara can open up a gap on the rest of the field so far. We saw in the heat it was quite a battle between Martinez and Simon Ellick the entire time, and then you can see Fox and Laser there. Something must have just happened to Laser because he dropped down into the third spot.
Danny O'Gara is out here on a tear, but I mean, we expect nothing less from the young man. We've seen incredible pace out of him in everything that he's stepped foot in. So, I mean, do we expect any less, really? Right? Like, Blake Martinez has been doing a great job today, trying to keep him honest, as well as lead Simon Ellick, hanging in there, just riding it out. And he is all over the back bumper of Blake Martinez right now. And honestly, O'Gara's not really getting the walk-off that, we would necessarily expect here early.
Yeah, not quite. Maybe just being polite, right? Or maybe, we kind of saw it earlier in some of these earlier features we had this morning where, if you push too hard at the beginning, you can have quite a bit of fall off. I think we saw it. It wasn't in this group, but in our earlier feature, up to a 7-second lead would disappeared over the course of 9 minutes just because of fall off.
Yeah, you've definitely got to be mindful of what you got beneath you. You got to keep that card alive to the end as we see the battle for second place shaking up here between Martinez and Lead Simon Ellick. Martinez probably with one of the more colorful liveries that we've seen all day today, by the way. That one really stands out to me.
That or like the heaters of the world, you know what I mean? Those are going to be the most colorful carts that we have out there. Always, I did also like, I forget who it was earlier there in the 13 cart, the black and gold. That was a sharp.
Yeah, it was pretty clean.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, Martinez's car kind of reminds me of the old Ray Bestis paint scheme that the Stavola brothers had for Jeff Burton back in the 90s.
A little bit.
Brings back a little bit of nostalgia for me, being a lifelong circle track fan. But you're definitely as far from a circle track as it possibly gets right now. But O'Gara, never mind, we were wrong. O'Gara's stretching the lead out now to 4 seconds. The last time at the line, we're going to see what it is this time as he crosses the start-finish line. But a big advantage for Danny, for sure. James Fox sitting there leading the micro class, 4-second advantage over 5th place Bo Laser.
Yeah, whatever happened to Laser, he must have recovered from it, finds himself back in the 5th position now. Did fall into last place of this race for a little bit, but was able to at least get that position back from McNeely. And hey, on the bright side here, we only have 6 carts, multi-class. Everybody has a guaranteed podium, so.
Well, that is always nice, but you know, these drivers don't think of it too much like that, right? Like we're hyper competitive at the level that we're at. I can guarantee you, it's probably 10 times more out there on track for these young karters, and everybody wants, you know, the bragging rights.
Yeah, you're probably right, but they're just going to see 3rd place. They're not going to ask out of how many carts, right? So.
But it's always a learning experience. Can't win, learn, and there's a handful of lessons that are probably being taught here around the track. Some weeks, you know, you just show up and other guys are way more dominant. You know, we're seeing it out of O'Gara, we're seeing it out of Fox. And it's definitely not the easiest of circuits either, as we see a little bit of a bumper-to-bumper battle right now. This is the battle for 2nd place overall. This is between Martinez and Simonelli. These two have yet to lose sight of each other, as we see Liat sending the front bumper to the back of the 38 machine of Martinez. But nothing really coming of it just yet. Martinez holding on strong there in the 2nd position. Liat definitely trying to whittle him down here, trying to force him into making a mistake so that he can shoot his way by to make the pass. Come across the line now, 5 minutes remaining here. For our first final, down to the inside. Here comes Liat Simonelli with a dive down into the hairpin. Not able to make it connect, though, as Martinez finds momentum and rockets around on the outside lane to hold on to the 2nd spot for now, but I don't think this battle is anywhere near done.
No, they just can't get away from each other right now, and I think this is going to continue to brew probably until our final lap. So we'll see who's able to stick out around and make the right moves here with about 4 minutes, 30 seconds left with 2 laps in our final race here. Really, it's been Martinez and Simonelli under an umbrella all day long. They just can't get away from each other.
Not at all. Martinez right now with the advantage, though, over Liat Simonelli. Working our way into the S's here. Is Liat going to send it to the bottom? No, he's going to stay tucked up behind the 38 machine to try and keep the momentum up as we work through the S's now into the final set of corners. But this go around, Blake Martinez still going to hold on to 2nd place. Liat riding close in 3rd on the back bumper now through the 1st turn, now into turn 2. Liat tries to send it up wide to try and get the drive off the corner. That pulls him up to the back bumper into the S's now. What's he going to do? They're basically going to match lines there, so the run's going to stall out for now. Now down through the S's into the little bit of downhill, down into the final corner here. At the line that time, Martinez is going to lead for 2nd place. O'Gara has walked off to 10 seconds over the rest of the field.
Pretty interesting here, too.
Oh, here we go. Down to the bottom, into the S's. Here comes Simonelli, and he's going to send it deep. And a crossover coming back from the 38 machine of Martinez. They're going to be side by side working through the S's. Martinez gets the advantage, and he's going to take the spot back into the final corner.
Yeah, I was going to say, pretty interesting how he got himself alongside there out of the hairpin, set himself up really well, and Martinez is able to make the pass there.
It ain't over, man. We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left for the 2nd place for these two. And I don't think it's coming to blows. Yes, they work their way past the lap machine right now. I think that's the 5:38 of Patrick McNeely.
It is kind of interesting to think here too, Sheldon, if you do the timing of the laps and everything, we're running almost 22 laps a race here, running this lap times that we are right now. So a lot of driving out here for the final.
Yeah, Yeah, it's definitely a battle of endurance, especially at a track as technical as this. You know, you've got to stay locked in. You got to avoid getting too far in your head here, and it's easier said than done, because once you get into the rhythm and, you know, just start going through the motions, it's very easy to kind of just zone out and space out. Well, right now, one guy not struggling with that one bit, though. Danny O'Gara way ahead of the field, 12-second advantage over second place Blake Martinez. Martinez and Semenelic, though, going toe-to-toe. Battle kind of cooling off for the time being. Looks like Martinez is starting to pull away ever so slightly from Lead Semenelic. And then, well, heck, James Fox is the only one left on the lead lap out of your micros. But I don't think that's going to last forever, because 2 seconds a lap faster for Danny O'Gara over James Fox right now.
And O'Gara just continues to run fast lap times too. The fastest lap was back on lap 12. So a little bit farther back, but even now still his last lap was at 32.5, so only 0.3 of a second off his fast lap of the race.
Yeah, water is wet, and O'Gara's fast. I mean, do we expect anything else? He is flying right now, but here comes Semenelic right back to the back bumper of Martinez. It looks like we're going to get a second shot here at this battle as we work ourselves into turn one. Looks like Semenelic's going to stay tucked up behind Martinez. And working into the hairpin. Not much change here, but here goes Martinez with a look to the bottom. Not able to make anything work of it, though, as 38 machine rockets around the outside line to keep the momentum into the S's, so Semenelic has to go right back to the drawing board here and try and set up another move, and he goes around into the grass. Lead Semenelic catches the right rear tire into the grass. It was just enough to shoot the 187 machine around. He's going to be able to keep it back going, though, get it back on the track, but a huge loss of time, and that basically sets up Martinez as your second place finisher.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to get back in that battle now, especially with 2 laps left. And yeah, I guess just barely caught that tire on the outside edge of the grass there. That's really unfortunate, because Semenelic was doing such a good job battling with Martinez and really thought it was going to come down to those final 2 laps.
I mean, that's all it takes, though, sometimes. You know, we're dealing with younger drivers here, so, you know, mistakes are going to happen every now and then. That's a learning experience. That's something he's going to tuck into his back pocket and remember, you know, later on. And that's a mistake that, heck, I mean, I've seen grown adults who've been racing, you know, 30, 40 years go out and, you know, do the same thing when they go to road courses. It's just, you know, it's tricky. Make a little mistake, get a little too hard into the corner. The car slides up just a little more than you were expecting. And around she goes the second you put the pedal down. But one thing's for sure, last lap on the board, Danny O'Gara has this thing locked up with a 16-second lead for Blake Martinez. Then 10 seconds back from Martinez is Lead Semenelic. And this thing is just about done and dusted as we watch O'Gara bring it through the final set of corners here to shake the checkered flag. Danny O'Gara's dominance continues here for the mini micro final. And he's going to lead Blake Martinez to the start-finish line. And third is going to be Lead Semenelic. I'll tell you what, somebody that's shown a lot of pace I didn't get to talk about much, but leading in for that micro Swift category, I give a huge tip of the cap for James Fox winning in his division, bringing it home in an overall 4th place over Bo Laser and Patrick McNeely.
Yeah, really good final race there. It didn't really surprise me that Danny O'Gara kind of ran away with it. But again, just a 16-second lead on second place. That is incredible.
So that's one of those names, man. You just got to circle that and remember it, because you know, future, you know, you're probably going to end up seeing that kid somewhere else. We talked about the dominance for a lot this afternoon, and this morning is Braden Heber right there in that 8 machine. That's going to be fun to keep our eyes craned on here as the 206 medium category takes to the track here for their last handful of minutes here in the afternoon.
Wasn't quite as much of a runaway for Heber in this class, though, than it was in some of the other classes that we saw earlier, so it'll be interesting to see with the extra time in the final, if anybody really has anything for him.
And I'm really interested to see what Evan McCorkadale and Nick Patton bring here, but also keep your eyes on that 712 machine of Levi Wilbur. He's starting last, but that's only because of a technical issue with that kart. He showed great pace in everything else today, and I expect no less. The karts load up side by side now, working themselves into the tram line here. Flagman ready with the flag in hand, and we are green flag racing here for the 206 medium final. Bringing through turn 1. Braden Heber going to come out to an advantage right now. McCorkadale going to lose a spot. Sitting back there in third. Patton was able to overtake him through the first corner. And looks like McCorkadale's going to try and make a stab here through the S's to get right to the back bumper of Patton. But not able to come up with anything right now as Heber slowly slips his way out of the picture here to the start-finish line. And Patton has a rear bumper, or sorry, that's Nicholas Nostman in second, but Nostman has a bumper cover full of that 19 machine of Evan McCorkadale.
Really interesting, too, to see on all of these starts how much it shakes up and just really how important it is to get a really good start on all of these races. You know what I mean? Not just the heats, but also the finals as well. It really puts you up in a good situation. You got the battle for the track position going through the remainder of the laps.
Absolutely. And right now, McCorkadale was able to get himself past in turn 2 there through the hairpin, take over the second spot. So now here's the question: has he got what it takes to get up to the back bumper of the 8 machine of Braden Heber, or is Heber already gone before we even started?
We'll find out, right? I highly doubt it, just based on the trends that we've seen already today. But hey, you know, I've been wrong lots of times before. Would love to be wrong again this time, because it just means we'd be able to see some more good racing.
I would love for us to be wrong. I would love for a good battle here. Right now, it looks like these guys are still battling for second place. As you saw, looks like Wilbur takes over the second spot from 8th place to second in as many laps. 2 laps it took for Levi Wilbur to carve his way through this field and get into the second place. Now, that man is going somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say it was exciting to see. I wasn't excited for him to be in the back of the pack coming out of the heat race. That's not what I'm trying to say. You never wish anything bad on anyone, but it was fun to see him just make his way through the field like that, already back up into second place. That doesn't really surprise us, but yeah.
I'll say 2 laps to go from 8th place to second. That
pretty good.
I don't care who you are. That is surprising, especially in a field as stacked as this one. But right now, he's still got Evan McCorkadale on the back bumper, just a kart length back, as we got one kart off the track a little bit further in the pack. Want to see that was Reed Esslinger?
Not entirely sure.
And neither am I.
But I am sure of one thing, though.
What's that?
Heber continues to dominate here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Heber right now up to a 3.2 second advantage over second place Levi Wilbur. I'd say what, if Levi Wilbur isn't able to get up there to the back bumper of that 8 machine and make a stab at it for the win, he's already gotten one, because going from 8th to second, I can't hammer on that enough, how difficult that is, especially on a track as complicated with as many intricacies as Whiteland Raceway Park in this current layout.
Well, and also, what's interesting to me, too, is he's going to be able to slice through the field like that, but then when he gets to Heber, it's going to be like almost a harder challenge than it was probably to cut through the field initially.
Oh, yeah. But I also think getting to Heber in the first place is going to be a very tall task, because that 8 machine is setting down qualifying laps, lap after lap. That time, a gold lap with a 33.133 from Braden Heber. That's a lot of Dales in there. That puts him 4 seconds up from Levi Wilbur. And Wilbur and McCorkadale still kind of going at it, but McCorkadale not able to close in, just kind of hanging tight with him.
Guess it would help to unmute the microphone before I try to give you my thoughts, and that would also explain why you weren't responding to me. But I was going to say, going to be a situation here, I think, where, I don't know. I mean, we looked at how good Wilbur was coming back through the field, but it's almost kind of equalized between him and McCorkdale right now. Not entirely sure if McCorkdale says anything coming back to him right now, but again, everybody else except for these top three looks like they're going to have a lot of work to do.
Looked like McCorkadale just made a move there. I guess that was on somebody else. So look here, we do have a battle shaking up right now. Down to the inside, he's gonna be able to make it stick side by side up into the S's. And here comes the 21 machine diving down to the inside. That's Nick Patton.
I don't know if Patton is a lap cart they're dealing with right now, or I don't think he's managed to work his way all the way back up in front here. So really interesting situation where we got going on right here, because you don't want that lap ahead of you. I guess it is Patton, actually. Patton worked his way up still on the same lap. That is impressive.
Got big moves here. Right now the battle for third, fourth, and fifth really stacked right now between Evan McCorkadale and Nicholas Nostman. And Nick Patton's got one kart off the track into the grass there for a second. Doesn't slow him down any, though, as Nick Patton doing a little bit of mid-race landscaping here.
Beautiful landscaping here at the Whiteland Raceway Park, too.
Yeah, he figured he'd put his own stamp on it, though, and send it.
Just over 3 minutes left here in the final race for the 206 medium class. Again, Heber just kind of checking out on the rest of the field. Kind of a solid, consistent 5-second lead right now, but I think actually Wilbur cut into it just a little bit the past couple of laps by here. I don't know if it's going to be enough to really make up that gap over time, but a little bit of a run coming back from the other way now.
Yep. Oh, a little bit of contact here, a little bit further in the back. Down to the inside. And pass made pretty clean there. As the two kart of Goldman versus, I believe, Esslinger. I like Goldman's whole helmet mentality here. Just the Stig.
It looks like there's like a Yankees logo or something on the back. I don't know. Looks like there's some kind of logo or something. I've been trying to figure that out. And I apologize if it's not a Yankees logo and I said it is a Yankees logo. There's something on the back of the helmet, though. It is a Yankees logo.
Yep, that would be the Yankees. And also just excellent work by the camera crew. Gotta say it again every time we mention something. And they just know when we need to zoom in. Every time. They've done so great at today.
I'm going to say that was intentional. I don't know if it was or not, but I'm going to say that was intentional, yeah.
No, I was stumbling trying to figure out who I was covering a handful of laps ago, too, and they zoomed right in on the nameplate because they knew that I needed that extra sauce, and I was too nice to ask for it.
Again, shout out to our camera crew doing a great job here on site, getting me all the sights and sounds from the Indy Karting Challenge.
Just phenomenal work. And speaking of phenomenal work, that 8 machine of Braden Heber, I mean, it's been phenomenal all day. Hasn't thrown a wheel in the wrong direction since he woke up this morning. And out here, dogging them here with just a little over a minute remaining. So just a handful of laps, about 4 laps before we close this bad boy out for the 206 mediums. See a little bit of a wiggle there, and Heber's catching into lap traffic. Lap traffic that has been battling hard since the start of the race.
See if it does anything here to maybe shorten the gap between him and Wilbur. I don't really think so, honestly, but we'll see. We've seen crazier things happen today.
I'll tell you what, if there's been an opportunity for Heber to go out here and make a mistake, this would be the one. Got to be really careful, but he's got to be fast when he catches these lap cars. But remember, at the same time, you got 5.8 seconds between you and Wilbur. So it's not worth going out there, sending it, and putting yourself off the track as he makes a dive down to the bottom. Going to try and get the 3-for-1 special here at Gapplebee's, and he takes it and runs with it. Braden Heber clears 3 lap cars into turn 2.
Talk about how difficult that was going to be, and he made it look fairly simple.
You can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Again, you keep telling me not to say that things look easy, but they do.
All right, fine. Heber's made it look easy. What a move. I mean, you can imagine passing 1, 2 cars maybe, but 3 in one corner. It's one move. That's incredible.
And well, you have the gap, might as well just take it. So.
Yeah, Nick Patton, your 5th place driver. You're the first car 1 lap down right now. Next one up for Heber to pass is going to be Nostman if he has the time, but I don't think he does. Just 2 laps remaining. As he comes across the line here.
It's pretty crazy, all things considered, that we have 4 karts 1 lap down in the same class.
Yeah, it is pretty insane. Working through here to get it to the final lap. Braden Heber just cannot speak enough about the dominance. I try to avoid speaking too much about the dominance because it just makes me feel bad for everybody else. But the white flag is in the air, and Braden Heber's leading it down into turn 1 with a commanding lead of 7 seconds over second place Levi Wilbur. And right now, I mean, there's not really much of a battle on track. You know, a couple of the cars a lap down, going toe-to-toe with each other, but into the SS for the final time. Here comes Braden Heber to set the stamp on the perfect day and to wrap it all up with a bow. Into the final turns here. Braden Heber, after an absolutely amazing performance of dominance, is going to take the checkered flag and win the 206 medium final. And not right behind him, but behind him, 7 seconds back, is going to be Levi Wilbur, bringing it home 2nd place over 3rd place Evan McCorkadale and Nicholas Nostman in 4th. Running it out in 5th place is going to be Nick Patton, followed by Andrew Goldman, Reed Esslinger, and Mike Haymaker. And that is your 8-car field, and that is it and done here for the senior mediums.
It's going to be halfway through our program, basically. Next time, by going to be 206 junior final coming up, and then we'll be halfway through our finals for this evening. Again, remember, tomorrow, going to have all the action for you here. Karting Challenge, again from Whiteland Raceway Park here in just south of Indianapolis. Gonna have all the action for you tomorrow, same time, starting at 8 o'clock and then going into the evening as well. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing today, you got more action tomorrow as well.
And it's definitely been a great day of racing here. It started for us at 8 o'clock this morning, and you're just joining us, be sure to look back through and see some of the other things that happened today. You know, some really good battles, some really good racing. Absolutely keep your eyes craned for tomorrow, because something special about Sundays in motorsports, and definitely get a good showing of it here at Whiteland, as we always do.
Hopefully fully refreshed and alert.
Yes, absolutely. One guy that's been fully refreshed and alert, it seems, all day has been Jordan Lapin. But this one's going to be interesting because Nolan Wade was putting some real pressure to Le Pen at the end of the heat. And I'm really excited to see what happens when you add all these extra laps to the event here. This might be our most competitive class here on the afternoon. As Jordan Le Pen leads, Nolan Wade, Carson Benjamin, Nico Santos, Maximus Seward, Maxon Klebe, Lucian Laser, Parker Dunn, and Gio Nelson here to the tram line. And another one to keep your eyes on is going to be the through-eight machine of Lucian Laser. Surely the bad luck cannot continue, and the pace will be here for him for the final. Working ourselves into the tram lines here. The flagman has the flag in hand. No gestures. Green flag is out. We are underway. And down into turn 1. Jordan Le Pen going to lead us down into turn 2 now. Sorry, looks like Nolan Wade. A little bit of contact. A couple cars around. And I can't tell. It looks like Lucian Laser was able to miss that one, but the 34 machine.
Santos and Seward.
And the 49. Yeah, Seward. That is a difficult break to start this thing off. And it looks like Lucian Laser has worked his way up to 3rd place in the first lap. So a big net positive for the 308 machine as Jordan Le Pen and Carson Benjamin lead us around. But Nolan Wade, heartbreak though. Gonna fall all the way back to 5th in the first lap after everything that happened in turn 2.
Yeah, really gonna shake everything up going through the rest of this race. Really gonna allow Lapin to get in there.
A little bit of contact down to the inside. Kart slow around the top. It's a 49 machine. And Jordan Le Pen going to lead us to the stripe here with just a 10th over Carson Benjamin. And Lucian Laser slowly starting to creep his way back up into the picture. 3/10 back, diving down to the inside now for 2nd place. A little bit of contact, a little bit of a hip check, and they're still throwing blows at each other. The 98 machine going to be defensive, though, and Carson Benjamin is going to hold on to the 2nd spot over Lucian Laser, and we got one kart off the track here, just off the groove, as the 49 machine, again, of Maximus Seward. So a rough day compounding into a terrible one for Seward.
Really interesting for Laser too. Really confident in that hairpin area, but just hasn't been able to really like string the hairpin and the S section together to be able to get away from anybody. It seems like the hairpin's really, really strong and then loses all the momentum going back to the S section.
Yeah, but he's trying everything he can right now to close in that gap. And I mean, from last place to, or just about last place to 3rd in a lap, definitely good recovery for Lucian Laser, especially after all the bad luck and all the bad breaks he's had today. But, I mean, it's still not over. These two leaders, they can get a little too froggy with each other and open the door up for him, because you see Le Pen is not able to lose Carson Benjamin right now.
No, he's not. And like you said, one little mistake and he's going to be at least all over the back bumper or able to make the pass. So you got to be really, really on your game here if you're Lapin.
And here we are right now, Lucian Laser getting a couple bumps from behind as he has taken over. I believe he just took over the 2nd spot, right? No. Yeah, he did. There we go. I get my eyes to saw there. Lucian Laser taking over the 2nd spot right now, just 0.7 of a second separating him from Le Pen. Lap car in between the two as well, kind of made that a little dicey, but now he's starting to work his way back up into the frame, trying to get to the back bumper of the 112 machine here. As the laps start to tick down, 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining on the board here for your 206 juniors. But that pass isn't, that pass isn't miss. Oh, down to the inside, a little bit of contact. Here comes Benjamin. That pass is nowhere near complete for Laser.
No, and we've seen that so many times throughout this day so far, that Laser's able to make the initial pass, just not able to hold on to the spot.
And he's going to make it into
again here.
Yeah, he takes it into 2 with a deep send, and he's so good through the hairpin. And we got one kart off the track a little bit further back, but Lucian Laser now rockets to the front from 7th place to 1st in about 3 laps. Is that what I'm seeing? Yes. Lucian Laser is on fire right now.
Maybe potentially Laser hurt us too, just saying how many times they had the momentum but just not able to complete the pass, and there finally makes us be quiet because they made the pass happen that time, made it stick, now holds on to the lead with about 5 minutes 45 seconds left to go.
But it's not over. Jordan Le Pen still all over the back bumper, and right behind him is going to be Benjamin. And Nolan Wade clawing his way back up into the 4th position here, just at the tail end of this camera shot right now. Any one of these 4 drivers could bring it home, and any 4 of these drivers also very well deserving. There's not a fluke driver up here, because these guys have all been comparable in pace since we dropped the green flag early this afternoon. Lucian Laser right now working on a recovery drive to seal the deal and call it a day. And Le Pen not really getting a good drive through turn 2 that time. Kind of bottled it up, lost a lot of momentum, and opened a gap for Lucian Laser to try and run with.
Yeah, really, like Laser, all of a sudden, this latter half of this final race has really just been shot out of a cannon, even now starting to open up a little bit of a gap on Le Pen there, which has been kind of interesting because throughout the first half of this day, we kind of saw the roles inversed, basically. Like Laser just wasn't able to quite get to the front, but you kind of mentioned just the flip switched all of a sudden. Now he finds himself at the head of this field.
I don't know where he's found all the pace, but he's definitely had it up his sleeve here to the closing stages of the day. And this is definitely the right time to be fast, you know? The heat, yeah, sure, you want to go win a heat, start up front. Qualifying, sure, you want to start on pole. But at the end of the day, what you really care about is hoisting that trophy once it's all said and done when the checkered flag sets, and that's the most important thing. And right now, Lucian Laser definitely got himself poised into the position, but down to the inside. Here comes Le Pen with another look to the inside. He's going to take the spot, and Lucian Laser's going to lose 2 spots. But now he's going to try and cross over and at least take back second. Not going to work. Swings a little bit wide, misses, and here comes Benjamin. He's going to take over the second spot. But that opens the door for Le Pen to run away with it as he walks down through the S's with at least a 2, 3, 4 kart length advantage over Benjamin. And Benjamin's around off the track.
I don't know where these runs are coming from, too, with it. Laser and Le Pen are going back and forth with each other. That is really, really unfortunate there, though, for Benjamin. He was doing a really good job there up in the top 3, top 4. That's going to really hurt the rest of his race.
Yeah, and we saw that same mistake in the last final, too.
Yeah, it's that one spot there. I almost wonder if they're catching the grass or maybe just with the heat, it's a little bit different, the traction they're getting in that part of the racetrack right now.
It looks to me like they're catching the grass, maybe a little bit of overhang, too. We'll take another look at it here when we come through next time. Looks like, you know, maybe that right rear tire just isn't making contact with anything.
Yeah,
potentially.
that's what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's just like going over the top. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's causing the right rear suspension of the car to kind of bottom out, which is compounding that snap oversteer that we're seeing there.
Because it's interesting, we've only seen it in the afternoon. Really, we didn't see any real issues with that spot in the earlier part of the day.
Yeah. Definitely agree. Yeah, it definitely looks like maybe in that part that there's nothing for the car to really grab a hold of. So maybe a bottom out situation where that left tire is just hooking and it's de-wedging the cart. But either way, all the technical jargon aside, Jordan Le Pen now with a decent advantage, 1.5 seconds over Lucian Laser. Nolan Wade sitting in third now, 4 seconds back. So that tight-knit battle looks like it's come to a stall point here as Le Pen runs away with it.
So
Carson Benjamin. Absolutely. And Carson Benjamin unfortunately falls all the way back to 6th with that mistake.
Really, of all the classes we've had so far, this has been the only one where we've seen a couple of different lead changes. Usually you see like 1, 2 maybe passes for the lead. This one we've seen a couple.
Oh yeah, this has definitely been the most exciting event on the day as far as battling goes since we crossed over from the AM to the PM. But now we've got just under a minute and 30 left. Jordan Le Pen walking away, but not quite. Lucian Laser starting to really put a hurting into that lead, reeling him in now. He's 0.8 of a second back. It was about 1.4 earlier. So Lucian Laser still trying to make a late race charge, doesn't think that this thing is done and dusted yet, and trying to get to the back bumper of Le Pen.
I mean, if anybody's gonna do it, I think it would be Laser, right? He's gonna have, looks like maybe 3 laps to go when they come by this time to try to get it done. That is enough time.
Oh yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
One bobble from Le Pen, and it's into the hands of Laser. But Laser right now just finding the pace on his own too. 0.4 of a second now, halves the gap to the leader, and now he's within Wake. And as fast as he's been through the hairpin all race long, I can't help but imagine he's going to close a lot more here too as we work ourselves up into the S's.
That was kind of interesting. I'm not really sure if it matters or not, but our clock was hung there at 33 seconds for a good 20 seconds or so there. I don't know if that is just on our end. Let's see what comes by here. If they get 2 to go this time by, or they're still going. So that's a little interesting.
And here he is.
Le Pen all over, getting hounded right now by Lucian Laser. Laser's going to send it down into turn 1. What's he going to do here into the hairpin? Not much. Opting to stay in line, maybe realizing that he made the move too earlier on in the race. Gonna wait and make that charge maybe on the last lap of the 2 to go. But he is all over him here through the S's. I mean, you've got to make the move now if you've got the opportunity, and I think that he's going to have the opportunity once we come out of this final corner.
Yeah, I'm probably going to try to set it up for the hairpin again. That's where Laser is just really confident with that kart. So I imagine if we're going to see it, you're going to see it there.
As you see the blue and yellow flag being displayed. Just trying to get that one lap car to move, but Lucian Laser all over the back bumper, not able to do anything. A little bit of a last-second adjustment to his course might have hurt him a little bit. And down to the inside, into the S's. Is it going to stick? Yes, it does. Now he's got the defense over Le Pen. Bumper to bumper through the S's into the final set of corners here. But did he make the move too early? White flag in the air. This is the last lap. This is for all it's worth here. Down to turn 1. Laser opting to go defensive. Swings wide, but still able to hold off Le Pen. Now down into the hairpin. Laser still opting for the defense. Is he going to be able to block off the run into the S's? Doesn't look like it. No, here comes Le Pen with a charge down to the inside.
Laser's
down
playing too much
into the
defense.
S's. And is Laser going to be able to get back to the top? They're going to be side by side, but it's not going to be enough. Le Pen's going to have the charge into the final set of corners. What does Laser do? Can he counter down to the inside again to the last corner? And it's not going to be enough. Le Pen's going to rocket around the top, and Le Pen's going to win it.
Just too much defense, unfortunately, for Laser there. You kind of pointed it out on the last couple of corners. Really set himself up to try to defend the apex of the corner, but really just hurt his drive-off speed, and that's what helped Laser get to the S part of the section of the track there and get to him. I got to give a Laser credit though. Really tried to make it stick with that final corner move, but just wasn't able to get to the door.
I mean, I got to give Laser huge props because not only did he give us the most exciting race that I think we've seen all day, but Laser also had to carve from 7th in the grid.
Yeah.
And just in a handful of laps was up in 3rd and was up there battling for the lead within about 4 or 5 laps. I mean, what a drive, what a recovery out of the 308 machine after a day where it felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. A 2nd place, that is nothing to hang your head in shame over, especially after all the adversity he had to crawl through. That was incredible.
Absolutely.
And huge congratulations to Jordan Le Pen for keeping Laser behind because that was a hard, spirited battle between 4 or 5 karts at one point. But Jordan Le Pen going to bring it home first, followed by Lucian Laser, Nolan Wade, Maxon Klebe, Parker Dunn bringing it home 6th with Carson Benjamin, Nico Santos, Gio Nelson, and Maximus Seward rounding out the 9 kart field for the 206 Junior Final. As we see a couple karts getting loaded up here before we start the 206 Legends and Supermasters. Which, is this our last one of the day?
I think we got 2 more.
Okay.
I think there's the Legends and the Supermasters, and then the Senior Masters after this.
10-4. Tell you what a great day of racing has been. That last one right there. If it doesn't get any better than that, it doesn't have to, because that was an incredible showing by 2 incredibly talented drivers on the Whiteland Raceway Park circuit.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? I did enjoy that. Like you said, it was probably our most exciting race we've had as far as just all day long goes, you know, even the heats and the finals and everything like that. Just the most passes for the lead that we've seen. Really good race in there in the second half of that.
Just absolutely incredible stuff. But as they got the kart rolled back in here onto into the garage area, looks like we're going to open the gates and get them fired up here to start out. Starting on the pole here is going to be J. Brian Williams with William McLaughlin in 2nd. Danny Cutshaw going to start 3rd with Tom Stevens and Joseph Stevens rounding out the 5 kart field. Well, based on everything we saw in qualifying and the heats and warm-ups, it's about for 2nd, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, I would imagine so. You know, we just saw J. Brian Williams, almost rightfully so. You saw a little bit of frustration that he had in some other races, maybe getting the short end of the stick in some incidents that were really not his fault. So maybe a little bit of catharsis for him, able to come back to this class and really get it done here.
I'll tell you what, definitely a deserving driver. And has shown a lot of pace this afternoon. Here we are as we roll side by side here into the tram lines to get this thing kicked off. Our oh so charismatic flagman has the flag in hand. And it looks like we're going to have ourselves a good clean start here. The green flag is out. J. Brian Williams leading us down into turn 1. And it looks like McLaughlin's going to lose a handful of spots here. Just that outside lane does not seem to go through the first corner. You really lose a lot. But he's going to fall back to third. That's going to move Cutshaw up into second in that bright orange cart as we work up into the S's. And J. Brian Williams is already sneaking away.
Yeah, I was going to say here, even we've seen it a little bit, having that outside line is actually almost a little bit more beneficial going into that first hairpin there, because then you get the outside line going back, and then you get the inside coming back into the next set of corners. But really there, just J. Brian Williams able to check out so far.
And good scenes here for J. Brian Williams as the battle for second place is starting to heat up ever so slightly as McLaughlin starts to close the advantage to Cutshaw. But these two, we saw a really spirited battle out of them in the heat, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as we get a little bit further into it. But McLaughlin getting a really good launch into the S's. Cutshaw kind of loses a little bit of time, swings a little wide. I think he maybe caught a little bit of grass. Gets a nice push from the 56 machine, but going to slip away here down the front stretch as McLaughlin's still trying to reel in that one machine.
Yeah, I think Cutshaw kind of parked it there a little bit. McLaughlin wasn't really expecting that. It kind of ran into the back of him, and it actually almost helped out Cutshaw more than it helped out McLaughlin in the long run.
Yeah, Cutshaw goes swing right again through the hairpin, and that's going to open the door for McLaughlin. McLaughlin's going to take it. Cutshaw not going to try to fight back too hard. Knows he's making a couple mistakes there behind the wheel. Maybe going to try and work with the 56 machine to at least pull them away from the Stevenses behind them in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, it seems like in that set of corners specifically, Cutshaw has made, I don't want to call anybody out and say a mistake because it's way more than I could do, but you can see there the wheels are kind of hopping through that area, so I don't know, it might be even something with the kart setup that's giving him a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, we'll see if it's worked itself out here. It just seems like he's struggling with that quick flick, that left to right.
Yeah, especially look right there. He loses a lot of time through that one little section going into the S's right there. Everywhere else, though, it seems like he's pretty quick.
The good thing is that's something you can definitely work on. Maybe dial out of the kart. Maybe dial out of yourself as a driver. But nonetheless, Cutshaw's still hanging it out there in 3rd place, so pretty good run for him so far. As we look at the Stevenses right behind. 8 machine and the 124 machine. That's Tom Stevens and Joseph Stevens sitting 4th and 5th, but right now J. Brian Williams off to a 4.1 second advantage, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a bigger one here at the line.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
please hold. Oh, yep, 4.198. So
yeah,
not
and
much
especially
left.
with Cutshaw and McLaughlin going back and forth for a couple of laps, it's really going to help J. Brian Williams out here.
I'll tell you what, that 75 machine's been in a league of its own today.
In this class particularly, yes, I agree.
Comes across that line, 34.483 over a 34.498. So second place, at this stint in the run, Wayne McLaughlin is starting to at least equalize with J. Brian Williams. But equalizing, great and all, but it just means you're not going to close the gap any. So he definitely, Williams is going to need to start making mistakes. McLaughlin's going to need to start digging deeper and finding more if we're really going to see these two come to blows here in the closing stages. But 6 minutes remaining plus 2 laps, that's a long time, especially when we're going to come across a couple lap cars here at some point.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's not completely over for McLaughlin yet, especially if they can keep continuing. Well, that last time by, J. Brian Williams put another I don't know, 6 or 7 tenths of a second on it. So it's not gonna, not by going that way you're gonna catch him with this much time left. But there is enough time if you can equalize or at least start chipping away at some of the time here to maybe get back to his back bumper.
There's definitely time to be had. There's definitely mistakes to be had, but all that in good time. But J. Brian Williams running his fastest lap of the race, as well as the fastest lap of the race at 33.947. As far as everybody else goes, the fastest lap after that is a 34.451. So Williams really digging right now. Has to be expected, but 0.5 of a second advantage that last lap over the rest of the field on their best lap. So a 5.7 second advantage over Wayne McLaughlin.
Really, I don't see that shrinking at any point through the rest of this remainder of 4 minutes and 45 seconds we have left in this final race, our penultimate final race before we have the the senior masters class coming up after this, and that will conclude our racing action, at least for today. Remember, we have all the same racing action coming back for you here tomorrow at the Indy Karting Challenge, so be sure to tune in on Kart Chaser again tomorrow to watch all of that with us.
Also, you just watched the 124 machine of Joseph Stevens move past Tom Stevens now for the 4th spot. These two still going to blows, though, for 4th and 5th.
Both of them off the pace right now, but at least equal pace to each other, so they are racing each other for that 4th and 5th position. You have a good point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tell you, look, as long as you're having fun, it's the only thing that really matters at the end of the day, am I right? Like, you're sitting there in a battle, gridlocked with another guy, and, heck, you know, that's racing excitement, that's learning, that's a blast. That's more than most people get to do, you know, sitting at home. You and I, you know, not having that opportunity, we're getting to sit here and watch people battle it out. But definitely a good time to be had all the way throughout the field as we watch Joseph Stevens start to pull away from Tom Stevens ever so slightly here. And the lead is now 8 seconds out of the question for William McLaughlin in 2nd place. And Danny Cutshaw almost. And right now, Brian Williams is still off to a commanding lead. The battle shaking up between the pair of Stevenses. Joseph Stevens leading over Tom Stevens right now. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. All over the back bumper through the S's into the final set of corners. Right now, Joseph Stevens going to hold strong, though, over Tom Stevens as we work down to the start-finish line. And there is your race leader right there, J. Brian Williams, coming through the final set of corners here to complete yet another blistering lap. As he rolls across the line to complete lap 13. He's going to set a 33.925. It's interesting to see what Wayne McLaughlin backs up with, and it's not going to be enough. Almost a second off pace that lap, 0.8 of a second. It's a 34.713. J. Brian Williams just in a league of his own right now. Another view at the 75 kart coming out of the final corner here across the start-finish line. And that right there is what an 8-second gap looks like as you see Wayne McLaughlin just now creeping his way through the final corner. And Joseph and Tom Stevens still trying to work out who's going to finish where, as they're still just about bumper to bumper coming across the start finish line here to complete lap 14.
Still just an enjoyable Saturday drive for J. Brian Williams here in this 206 Legends Super Masters final.
Right there, you could really see it right there where Cutshaw is struggling to get up off the corners through the hairpin and into the S's.
Yeah, it's just that section, a transition from the hairpin to the S's has really been hurting him here.
It just looks like the kart might be just a little too snug for him to really be able to get the most out of it. As Wayne McLaughlin is now working on almost a 10-second advantage to the field here. Sorry, J. Brian Williams is working on almost a 10-second advantage to the field. And also that last time across the line, that gives us 3 laps to go. So 3 more times around this track. And then we will be done for the 206 Legends and Super Masters. Down to the start-finish line, J. Brian Williams takes us 2 to go as we get our camera back up and running here into turn 1. And great scenes all the way across the track here as you see J. Brian Williams rocketed into the hairpin for the final time. Now taking the quick flick to the right, now setting himself up for the S's. And it's just been a day of dominance for J. Brian Williams in that 75 kart, showing nothing but speed since he unloaded this morning. And finally able to capitalize on it as he works through the final handful of corners into the last turn for the last time, and now to the down to the white flag. I'm a lap ahead of myself, guys.
That's okay.
Just everything I just said, ditto, times 2.
Yeah. Well.
Now for the final time through the hairpin, as J. Brian Williams not slowing down a bit. You saw him just about on 2 wheels there. That's been the pace he's shown all day. Into the S's for the final time. A little bit of a clip on the grass, but it doesn't matter because 11 seconds between him and second place. You lose a little bit of time. Now through the final corner for the final time into the checkered flag, J. Brian Williams is going to get the job done, and he's going to win the 206 Legends and Super Masters Series. And with that gap, I think our flag man is getting some good cardio in here. As second place, William McLaughlin comes across the line, leading over Danny Cutshaw in third. And then the dynamic duo of Joseph and Tom Stevens going to round out the field here for 4th and 5th. After a spirited battle between the two of them, and it's almost a photo finish at the line there. Tom Stevens almost got past the 124 machine for 4th.
Great battle between them this whole final, honestly.
Yeah, they were going at it, and they somehow maintained to stay on the lead lap while going at it, too, even with the blistering pace that Brian Williams was putting up.
It's going to be one more final to go here. For at least today's action.
Absolutely. Well, here's my question for you. I don't know if you've been able to keep up with it, but how's the truck race looking right now from Lime Rock?
4 laps to go right now. They just went to a restart, and there is a big stack up in turn 1. But still green now, 4 laps to go. Corey Heim, I believe, is still in the lead, which has pretty much been wire to wire so far.
Yeah, it sounds about right. It is Heim time this year, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How's Taylor looking out there?
I don't see him right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Anyway, KA Seniors and Masters taking to the track here and now. It's AJ Lund keep up the performance we've seen out of him, the blistering pace out of the 43 kart. So we'll keep our eyes on here.
Lund and Van Dyke have really been the class of this field, but really in this class so far, there've been a lot of battles all the way. It's like they just paired off for each position and fought for each battle there.
And it's definitely going to be interesting to see as we are side by side now, ready to take the green flag here. Looks like, one thing I got to hammer on, these guys have done such a great job getting through the tram lines and getting these races started in a timely manner, which, isn't always the case when we go karting. So good work out of all these drivers as they roll into the tram lines here. And I'm pretty sure, this is going to guarantee this is going to go green here. The green flag is in the hand and it is out. We are underway down into turn 1. AJ Lund carving out a nice little advantage to start this thing off, but not a whole lot over second place, Dane Van Dyke.
Really good aggressive move there to get down to the inside line right away, and then good job by all of our drivers too. A perfect green flag runs for everyone.
No real mistakes, especially in a 90-degree bend like that can be very tricky as you see AJ Lund continuing with the four-wheel drift through the closing turns. Across the stripe that time, and well, is that the first sub 30-second lap we've seen?
I believe so. Well,
That's
at least in the finals, I think we might have saw a sub 20 or a sub 30 in the heats, but at least in the finals, yes.
that is insane. AJ Lund, and that is off of the initial start, so that is just beyond impressive. So AJ Lund leads us across the line again, this time 31-second lap for lap 2. Dane Van Dyke, second place. Working just 0.7 of a second off of the leader.
Van Dyke just not able to get away, or I'm sorry, not able to get past Lund right now. I'm saying Lund not able to get away from Van Dyke is what I was trying to articulate there.
It's all right. We've been up for quite a few hours here talking about it. AJ Lund still putting together a solid performance, but man, 0.08 of a second separating him from second place. Dane Van Dyke breathing down his neck. So we got a pass right now into 2 for third. Macy Galen going at it with Jedediah Jonas. Jedediah gonna get the spot here. And it looks like he's working on walking away with it over Macy Galen. AJ Lund with a little bit more of an advantage this time. 0.5 of a second separating him from Dane Van Dyke at the stripe last time by. So maybe a little bit of a bobble out of the 43 a few laps ago, but reeling it back in and hammering it down when it matters most.
Just over 7 minutes left here in our final, and again, Lund just trying to open up any kind of gap that he can really on Van Dyke, and he's been doing that so far. It's not been a big gap, but it's just been slowly and consistently building here lap by lap for him.
It's definitely been a really good run for him today, for both of these guys, really. Up here at the point. Jedediah, kind of slipping in out of nowhere into that third position. Haven't really talked about him a whole lot this afternoon, but putting together a really good run here for the final, which at the end of the day, I mean, that's all that truly matters. I'm not saying that every second you spend on the track doesn't matter, but, you really want to get it done for the final as opposed to anywhere else in the weekend.
For sure, and for something to be said going wire to wire like Lund is done, you know what I mean? That's got to feel really good for your confidence as well, because, I mean, when you go back and look at it, you're not going to see you might not remember all the individual moments, but you're going to see your name at the top of the sheet for all 3 sessions, and that's going to really do a lot for your confidence.
Yeah, well, when you got a trophy sitting on the shelf that says you were the best on a certain day, you're going to remember that trophy. That's for sure. Because at the end of the day,
it doesn't really matter how you got there.
At the end of the day, it's all about the bragging rights. I mean, everybody here wants to build themselves a really good resume of finishes and wins and top 5s. And right now, AJ Lund working towards that with a blistering pace in that 43 kart. But it looks like him and Dane Van Dyke have been swapping best lap here the last handful of laps. So look through the field here. 5 minutes and 24 seconds remain as they cross the line this time. Just about at that halfway point.
That battle that I've been watching here is the one between Macy Galen and then Abram Dean has been really the closest battle on the racetrack so far in these final 4 minutes of this race that we've been watching here. Just kind of going back and forth, very close to each other the entire time, just been trading positions.
There was Abram Dean with a little bit of a look to the inside, wasn't able to do anything with it, had to check up ever so slightly to avoid running into the side of Macy Galen. Galen going to run away with the advantage now down the front straightaway, down into turn 1. About a kart length and a half separating 4th from 5th. Now down into the hairpin. And Galen still with the advantage. Dean not really able to close up too much to the back of her.
really just everybody from the start of this race has just been kind of holding their own little spot on the racetrack, their own little island, so to speak, up in really much as far as the back and forth has been going.
I'll tell you what, that's been about, you know, the trend of the day, though, with this layout.
Really has been.
You know, a lot of separation here, but I mean, you know, it just comes down to it's a very technical layout, and you know, I just think it's because, you know, with the bowl not being utilized in this layout, it's more of a driver track as opposed to, you know, what we're used to seeing where we get the big runs with the slipstream and everything that kind of bunches everybody back up on the straightaways. Definitely testing these drivers to the absolute limits of their abilities. We've seen a couple small incidents here and there, but nothing too dodgy, nothing too dire. So it's been a really good, clean, safe day of racing. And it's been a blast to watch this day wind down, as we've seen some really great drivers trading blows with each other lap after lap. But right now, one at the top of the chart, AJ Lund, 0.3 of a second though separating him from Dane Van Dyke. Dane is not letting him breathe easy here at the point. At least it was 0.3 of a second last time across the line. Looks like you're oh so significantly close now, as it is now down to 2.9 of a second at the stripe last time through.
Pretty similar lap times, but just nothing that Van Dyke has really been able to chip into the gap that Lund has right now.
And I think that where Lund is really getting those big gains, because we've commented multiple times about the 43 kart, how on edge he is coming through the last turn. We're going to see it right here. You see how sideways he is. He's taking a way wider approach to the last corner than Dane is. And I think that wider approach with that extra bit of slip angle, I think that's allowing him to keep the momentum up down the straightaway. And it's like everything that Dane does to close in, it gets eaten right back up once we go down the straightaway.
A little bit of a pass there. I think that was Estrada getting past. Well, no, Estrada argued. Somebody just lost 2 positions there in our last 2 minutes here in this race.
I think it was either Nelson or Estrada, because that was definitely a lap car there that they just rolled by.
Must have been Estrada then, yeah, because nobody's dropped 2 times in the timing tower.
Here's 21. This is Nelson, so Nelson going to lap down, and Dane Van Dyke not able to get to him in time to make the pass for the most critical sector of the track. We got one kart off the track a little bit further back.
That was Estrada there.
Yeah. But this is definitely a loss of time for Dane Van Dyke, as you see AJ Lund just high and wide there through the final corner and just able to get the power down maybe a little bit sooner using that wider apex. And I think that right there is going to be the magic that's going to seal the deal for AJ. So you've got a minute left, plus 2 laps. So it's going to be a little bit here before we finish this thing off. About 4 more laps to wind this thing down.
Really getting into the final couple of laps here, like you mentioned, and one kart off. It looks like that's going to be the 223 of Estrada again. Estrada was having some issues, it seemed like, with the hairpin in the past couple of laps.
I think that issue that he had the last time that we were focused in on him when he was getting put a lap down, I think that might have been when he went off track initially. And just waiting for the opportunity to get out of the kart as we see a yellow flag being signaled through turn 1. So definitely some movement happening over there in the hairpin. But now the pressure is back on here as the 24 kart of Dean going at it still with Macy Galen.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to kind of set up your runs, though, when there's a kart there at one of the fastest part of the racetracks. That's a real good passing zone, is that hairpin, and definitely with the yellow flag right now, there's going to be not really a good spot to set up that pass. I will say that.
Absolutely not. As they try to pull that kart out there, track workers doing a good job making sure that everybody is safe here. And also, we've got 2 laps left on the board here for AJ Lund, who is just eking out a second advantage over Dane Van Dyke in the closing laps. His way downhill here into the last set of corners. taking that signature slide as the white flag is in the air. One more lap to go here for AJ Lund to close out a stellar day here from the Whiteland Raceway Park. Working through the hairpin for the final time. Over a second separating him from Dane Van Dyke. It's been a hard-fought battle between these two all race long, but it looks like as we work into the S's for the final time, AJ Lund just has to get through this last corner. We've seen so many mistakes, and he's done so great here all race long, and he does it. He makes it through clean, and to the checkered flag, AJ Lund is going to win the KA Senior and Masters final over Dane Van Dyke in second. Bringing it home third is going to be Jedediah Jonas. And look at the gap right here.
Just a wire-to-wire day for AJ Lund, I will say.
Absolutely. And Jedediah Jonas does come across the line to finalize it, finishing third place, followed by Abram Dean, Macy Gallion, Kevin Simonelik, and running out the field is going to be Joshua Nelson and Eric Estrada.
Great day of racing here from Whiteland Raceway Park, and really looking forward to what we're going to be seeing tomorrow too.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a great day to sit here in the booth with you, Ian. I've had a blast covering this since the wee hours of the morning when neither one of us were actually truly awake. And
I'm still not truly awake, to be completely honest with you. I've been living off of energy drinks and the fact that I'm going to go get food here in like 30 minutes or so. But it's been a dry day. Still no rain in the area, so kind of exciting. Starting to pop up a little bit now. I will say that there are some showers starting to pop up around in the area here, so probably a good time for everybody to get packed up or at least hunkered down for the night if they're going to be staying here.
Absolutely. Well, it has definitely been a great day of racing here from Whiteland Raceway Park. The Indy Karting Championship always puts on a great show. And be sure to tune in tomorrow because we're going to have so much more racing action before this weekend is over. But thanks for sitting here and watching along with us here on Kart Chaser. And, well, hey, hope you enjoyed our voices because you'll be hearing them again tomorrow.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to Indy Kart and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Are you sick of making the wrong setup changes? Or arguing with your kid about their driving? Apex gives you the answers within seconds. Apex is the latest innovation from Kart Class, which can solve thousands of karting queries at the press of a button. No more asking random people kart setups, or being intimidated by larger teams. Just type it in and let Apex do the rest. Apex covers different kart brand setups, axles, rims, seats, and everything racecraft related. For as little as a can of chain lube, you can learn from over 30 years karting experience in seconds in the palm of your hand. Check out Apex at kartclass.com today.